Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. This is a Super Dave special review. Super Dave here again with another exciting action figure review, and we're taking a look at two companies and two action figures today. First of all, it is Savage Crucible, and then we have XesRay Studio, an exclusive female, and this is going to be exciting. By Harbinger Studios, we have another Savage Crucible in the house, and this one is Krieger the Shunned. That's right. There's a little write-up on the whole Savage Crucible deal if you would like to take a look at that. But then if we open up the flap, we're going to also see a really long bio that you can read there that's going to explain to you everything about this figure, his history, and everything about him. That is so cool on that scroll there. And then there is the figure himself, Krieger the Shunned. And he is looking magnificent. I've got Who-Man and the Warrior with Ball and Chain, and they were just excellent figures. So we're going to take a look at this one. And then one of the ones that I was really excited about and had ordered it from 5K Toys, and they supposedly sent out an email talking about a second payment. I don't know. I missed it, and they canceled my order. I was very upset because I was, I had prepaid, pre-ordered it with a deposit. And I don't know. I was just thinking that they would automatically use the same, kind of like Big Bad Toy Store, use the same payment method and charge it out and send it to me. And I don't know how I missed the email, but I missed the email, and I started seeing people getting them, and I was like, hey, where's my figure? And they sent me a thing saying, oh, we're sorry, but we're sold out, and now we're going to refund your deposit. So anyway, I was upset about that. And so you have to watch some of these companies, really stay on top of them or you'll miss it. And I guess they think all we do is sit around and wait for their email. But anyway, it's Gold Hildr. Gold Hildr. And just take a look. She is definitely one of the highlights of 2025. And she is looking amazing. If you're not convinced, kabang! There you go. But there is a little write-up on her. If you'd like to pause and read that now, you can. All right. So we're going to break open, and there's a picture of her with the helmet on, and it says, "Fight for glory, combatants fight for glory." XesRay Studios makes these, and I've got a few others of those too. Some of the male figures. This is my first female figure, but they have released other female figures before, and I missed out on those. They look really cool too, but this one's looking epic. So I'm excited to check them out. So come on over here to Eternia, New Eternia, where we've got Turtles, we've got the Norsemen, we've got Conan, we've got Who-Man, we've got He-Man, She-Ra, and Teela and Ram-Man waiting for us over here to check out these two new figures. And just below the Castle Grayskull on Eternia, along with some of our allies of He-Man, we're going to be taking a look at Krieger the Shunned, as well as Gold Hildr. And let's first take a look at their accessories. And first of all, our Krieger the Shunned comes with 3 sets of hands. He comes with these vertically hinged weapon holding hands, as well as a set of horizontally hinged weapon holding hands. Also some grappling looking hands that are horizontally hinged. He comes with 2 portraits, one equipped with a helmet with horns on the side. As you can see, it's non-removable, as well as a unhelmeted head with his hair slicked back and some scarring on his right eye, over his right eye. And then he also comes with a hatchet, an axe. As you can see, he's holding it there, and of course he's got gauntlets and big giant pauldrons on his shoulders and this strap. But he also has, if we turn him around right quick, this removable sheath. It looks like a makeshift cloth kind of just strapped together to kind of create a sheath out of blanket. And yes, there is a sword that you can pull out of there. As you see, that sword has some scarring on it. It's got a wrap around it with some gold on the hilt and even on the butt. But it's a really cool looking sword, very nicely made, not too brittle, not too soft, but yes, cool looking sword. And then he also comes with a little device that looks like a peg piece that could go into something so that it could be like a shield. So I'm not sure if that's something that he comes with. We're going to look at that a little bit more. I don't know if you can take off this pauldron and make it a shield, or I'm not sure what that is. Or maybe it's supposed to go with another, accessory that doesn't come with this figure, because that's all that came with him, or that was supposed to come with Krieger the Shunned, except for a little blind baggie like they normally do in Savage Crucible. And inside of that little baggie, we get a transparent sword, which will be cool to go along with our enemies, our bad guys, which one of those is right here. And you can see that translucent green and gold sword, it looks good in his hand. And we got some already for this guy, and one that was a translucent purple, which actually looks better on him because of the colors. But if you've got a lot of the lizard men, which I don't, I only have two, this one and another one, this one may look better with some of the other color tones that you may have. But that is just a cool translucent sword that comes as a little bonus. Cool. And then our Gold Hildr comes with 4 sets of hands. She comes equipped with a set of weapon-holding hands, as well as some balled-up fisted hands, also some spread-out hands, completely spread out, and then a more relaxed kind of gesturing hand there. And then she comes with only one head portrait, but you have several options. She comes with this beautiful face with the gold hair and the braids. But then you also get a helmet that you can put on her with some horns on the side. Looks like some gold wrappings and almost a pewter looking type metal look to that helmet. But then you also, and I think this is for the sake of the helmet, you can remove the top layer of hair like so. And I believe, see, just look how the intricacy of that hair, how detailed and how styled it is with the wash in it. Just looks gorgeous. And that just pops off. See, there is a little peg hole there, or a peg rather, and there's a peg hole in the top. But that allows for the helmet to go on, I believe. But yes, that looks very nice, very beautiful. Just look at those eyes, looking very gorgeous, very pretty and attractive face there. And that is neat. She comes with a lot of stuff like the necklace and this bone belt, as well as like this loincloth type thing. Of course, she has these gauntlets around her wrists, as well as some jewelry and bands around her biceps, a wrap around her thigh. She has boots with different types of things, but she also, as we've looked at her hands already with the balled up fisted and all these different things, she also comes with a set of bare feet, which this is kind of a tradition for our XesRay Studios and combatants, Fight for Glory combatants, to come with bare feet. Then she comes with a large axe with a wooden handle, and then a short hatchet type axe, and a little tiny knife or dagger that there is a holster, or I should say sheath, on her back waist that's on this belt that will slide into. And that brings me to her sword. You see that sheath and then that sword, that's a long sword. And it's a very soft rubber type sword, very flimsy, very soft rubber, but it has like a metal looking hilt to it, or butt, and a brown wrapped hilt as well, or handle, as well as a pewter and gold hilt that goes into that nice looking sheath there that will attach to her belt as well with a little peg. Now both our Krieger the Shunned and Gold Hildr, both you have to use hair dryer or heat of some sort to soften that hole so that those sheaths will peg into place. Otherwise you would never get either one of them in there. And then also our Gold Hildr comes with a big like bear skin or some kind of skin, maybe a wolf skin, I don't know, it's gray anyway, big blanket type wrap, and then a more of a cowl or shoulder type wrap that is shorter and smaller. Both have buttons, little snap buttons that you can use on them, but they are really nice, and we'll look and see what we can do with them next as we take a closer look and take a look at their articulation. First at Krieger the Shunned, his articulation. All right, bringing our Krieger the Shunned on in here. We're going to take a look at him first. And I did find out what that little piece was for, I do believe. You remember this was on his belt here, this big thing there. And what I did is I just popped that off that little peg there, and it pushes in a little bit. And I put that on there, which fits perfect. And you kind of have the ability to have a miniature shield. And of course this, along with the gauntlet, I mean, you have a pretty nice shield, pretty good shield. But that's what that is, so just showing you that. All right, let's go ahead and put this down so that you can see he's going to be able to look up a really good amount. Looks up really good. He's going to be able to look down all the way, looking good there. He's also going to be able to get some excellent head pivot. Just take a look at that all the way. I mean, that is just impressive. Impressive ball joint motion back in there. It's just amazing. Why can't all action figures do that? So yeah, you have excellent head articulation, be able to do whatever you want to do, and a really nice portrait. The eyes, the lips, the look on the face is just well done. And let's go ahead and pop that one off right quick. You see that big ball joint? That's probably why we're getting such excellent articulation. Pop that other head on here, and you're going to be able to see that that head's also going to be able to look up a really good amount there. I've got him slumped over a little bit. Yep, he's going to be able to look up a really good amount. He's going to be able to look down all the way. He also is going to get excellent pivot. Oh man, for some of those expressions. So yeah, you get full motion with that head. Going to be able to look side to side, of course. Just really good motion. And again, it's a beautiful looking head portrait. The eyes look good, the hair looks good, the wrinkles in the face, the lips, even the scarring looks real fresh and legitimate there. Looks just really good. Love the look of this almost leather looking chest strap with the gold loop buckle type, well, not buckle, but gold loop there, as well as, you know, just the decorative features of it. Not sure if anything could go in that hole there. It's probably just to hold on this. And then just take a look at the detail of that pauldron. And there's that place I was telling you there, if you can see it. Yeah, there it is right there. It's very difficult. This is a hard plastic, and that's a hard peg to go inside of a soft plastic strap there, but I did have to heat it up to get it to go in and pop in, just work it back and forth. But once that one's on, it's on pretty good, and you can see that a little closer up. See the belt buckle back here, very impressive loincloth, has that realism to look kind of like, you know, cloth and leather and metal here. I popped that back on, as you see. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at this arm. You are going to be able to get a full 360. This one may be a little tricky just because of all that you've got going on there, but this piece just pops into the back of the shoulder there, as you can see, with a peg, so that can be popped off. And then you see the nice tricep, and so you have the arm there, and the shoulders, they are going to be able to get really good range, better than a T pose, really more of a Y pose. There is a butterfly joint that comes out the back there, as you can see. Really nice functional hinged butterfly joint, which is going to allow for that arm to come forward, even covering his right pec there. And you can see what a nice shoulder muscle, bicep, even the cephalic vein coming through here, just the details. And then he's got this really unique to Savage Crucibles, and I like it. Some people don't. I do. The elbow with the double joint. So you have a joint that bends here at the forearm, and then a joint that bends at the bicep, creating a double joint there, which gets good range and actually looks pretty good, except for just, you know, like that line right there. But then also you have, if you can hold the shoulder, you'll be able to see there's bicep swivel, and then there's also elbow swivel because of the way they put that up in that bicep area there, the forearm. And just, you know, really nice looking gauntlets. Those are non-removable, they do not swivel. But look at this hand joint. This is the one that's vertically hinged that I mentioned to you earlier. So it will go up and then it'll go down, so you can use that with this hatchet or his sword. So a nice vertical hinge, and of course it also will swivel there. And then moving on to the diaphragm, you're going to be able to use that first diaphragm joint, under his bosom there, to crunch forward that much. And then you're going to be able to, and you can see it already shows a little bit of gappage there, but he's going to bend back slightly. But there's also a ball joint in his waist, so if you put the two of them together, he's going to be able to bend forward all the way, as you can see there, and then he's going to be able to really bend back a good amount too. You can see all his abs there and the details, so that looks really good there. And it's not like a super hard plastic, but it's not super soft either. It's pretty neat and diverse there, and I think it works pretty good. This one popped out. As you can see, those gauntlets are non-removable because the pin, or the peg rather, pegs right inside of there, and this will swivel and hinged horizontally as well here. So you see how that goes. Now let's go ahead to the legs. He's going to be able to get full splits, looking good there. He also has thigh rotation built up in that ball joint. He's also going to be able to kick up a really good amount. He also has double jointed knees, which are done just like the arms. You have a joint that plugs into this quadricep, and then a joint that plugs down into the calf, which allows for a knee piece, and then the double jointed knee, which would go all the way, let's see, yep, it'll kick the back of his upper back almost there. As you can see, there is a little bit of a rotation there. I'm not sure if that's supposed to rotate. Yeah, I think that rotates there with that knee, this bottom part of the knee. It's trying even to rotate there. But then you have full tiptoes ability there. You're going to be able to go up pretty much all the way there. And you also have excellent rockers. If I can figure out how that works. Yep, I think it's the ball joint. There we go. And you have the peg hole in the bottom. Trying to figure out if that's a forward-facing pin or a ball joint or both. I think it is forward-facing pin. Yep. But it's almost like a little moccasin. You can see even the threads and the material, like it was threaded together, makeshift kind of. Yeah, he doesn't have any like really fancy equipment. It's mostly piecemeal together. Get that pauldron down, and it looks really good though. Looks authentic. You see the boots, the way, or I should say the shin guards, that go up, kind of like boots, even covering the knee there some. The tattered loincloth coming down in front, all that soft. But yeah, looking really cool there, looking really neat, looking awesome. All right, let's come on in here with our Gold Hildr and check her out. I will tell you that she is a little darker than I expected. It's not a bad thing. She's definitely got the tan going on. But, and all of this is very loose. It kind of just bounces around all the time right here. But that is so that you can remove that. But this part right here, like this bone dress, I mean, it's just got a lot of stuff. But so much detail. Just look at the detail. And this one is very soft. So you've got a soft rubber piece on this strap here. That's a part of the bigger part there. And then you've got a soft sheath with a soft peg. And even though I did warm it up with the hair dryer, this loves to pop off. There it goes. See, it pops off very easy. And no matter how hard I try to get that to stay in there, it just will not stay. I may end up gluing that on, but mine just will not stay. And this is thick enough. I just think this is too gummy. This is too soft. If they had made this a harder plastic, then, but you see how gummy it is? That's how gummy the peg is. It's super, super gummy. No body to it or density to it at all. It's nicely crafted, detailed. Don't see any breakage or cracks in it or anything. It's just super gummy. So that's unfortunate from the standpoint of flexibility or functionality, I should say. But I went ahead and put on her head with the helmet. I'm sorry, this is the helmet. She does not come with two heads like our Krieger the Shunned. There's only one head, but you do remove, as I shared, the hair piece. Still leave some hair, but you have, see, ta-da! Just take a look at that beautiful facial feature and the blue eyes, the hair. Still very detailed even without the hair piece on. But this allows for you, and there's no peg in the helmet, which is kind of odd because there is a hole in the top of the head, but you can slide that right on and it fits perfect so that you can still see those blue eyes through the eye holes there. Fits perfectly. Really nice detail to this metal helmet. You would think it was real metal. Little dings in it and scratches. It's just cool. And it's almost like maybe that one got broke off, so they used a gold band to weld it or force it back together there. I don't know. But yeah, she's got all the right parts, if you know what I mean, for everything. And there's that little sheath that I was telling you about that works with that little dagger that she came with, which also looks very realistic and is a very gummy plastic as well, but it's strong enough to go in there. You just have to push it a little bit. You can see how that looks, but everything is super detailed, looks very realistic. Her this piece here kind of slides up and down over her knee. Even this part here will slide down if you mess with it just slightly. So everything's very kind of loose, if you will, but I think that's because it's designed where you can take it all off. Let's see if this will come back up there some. Nope, I think it's supposed to be over that. Okay, now if you want to know how to take her armor off, I was going to show you. You do have to dislodge the head. You do have to just gently pop that ball joint from up in here, and then in order to get that T out from this part without breaking this, you've got to pop one of the legs very gently, just pop out of the socket, and then you're going to be able to remove all of this gear here, all of this. I would not want to try to melt, or I should say heat this up and pull it over the legs because of all the glue and all the pieces that are strapped onto here. So be advised of that. And I did end up gluing this piece on to that just because it kept falling off, which I'm pleased with that, because I'm going to want the sword and the sheath on there like that, and I can still pull the sword out. But that's me. Love and you can really see this now that I've got that done. It's just so nice and detailed, very realistic, excellent paint apps. I mean, flawless in my opinion. But there you have it. You see how it's done. But anyway, let's go on and look at the articulation very quickly here. Her head, you're going to be able to look up about that much. The hair hits here, of course. You're going to be able to look down all the way. You are going to be able to get pivot, even though the hair again kind of works against it a little bit. You see those braids kind of pushing, but you will get pivot. So pretty good head articulation. She's going to be able to look side to side, of course. There's that necklace piece I was telling you about. All right. Her arms are very loose, but you are going to be able to get full 360 there. You are going to be able to get a full T-pose going up just like so. Let's see if there's any hidden bicep swivel. Nope, no hidden bicep swivel in the arm, but kind of like we've been seeing with X-Ray Studios, there is a hidden bicep swivel up inside of the shoulder, or shoulder swivel, if you will. So you are able to swivel that arm. I'll show you, going out about that far, and that's without using the elbow, and in about that far, and you'll be able to see it back here, how it swivels. Watch. And there is a little bit of a butterfly joint, not like a huge amount, but just enough that it comes forward a little bit, just a tiny bit. And then she has single jointed elbows, which still get pretty good range. You get a 90 degree angle there, and there is the swivel or rotation at the elbow. You can see there, everything's super soft, so you have to be really careful not to break these joints because it's very thin and it's very soft. And it's the same way on this side. You're going to be able to get full 360. And this is the one that I've had pop out a lot. So let me go ahead and show you the way it looks in there. So you have like a little bit of a functional ball joint there, or I should say butterfly joint. But when you push that back in, see it goes down, shifts up and down slightly, and back and forth inward slightly. And then you also have, I'll show you here, you have that rotation. It rotates on that ball joint. So that kind of creates a bicep swivel, if you will. And then you also have the ability to swivel at the elbow. Now, the reason you didn't hear me say anything about vertical or horizontal is because with X-Ray Studios, you do get a ball joint at the wrist. So it depends on which way you've got that ball joint, depending on what your hand will do. If you want vertical, you can do vertical. If you want horizontal, you can do horizontal. So you've got either way, and then you can go ahead and see there that you do have the ability to remove these gauntlets. There's that shoulder style bicep swivel thing too I was showing you. And there is a little bit of muscle tone. You have a little bit of a tricep going on in here. And you've probably already noticed she's got some abs, little six-pack going on there with some shading going on in there, which is nice. I like that. I think that's nice. And some muscularity to those legs also. Really cool. She does have kind of like a thong on underneath, so there's no nudity going on there. But going on to the diaphragm, let me show you that you can crunch forward about that much, and you can crunch or bend back rather that much. See kind of like the rib detail, the ribs up in there. That's kind of cool. And then you're going to be able to go side to side a little bit. There is only a flat section going all the way up. You can get the full hula hoop motion, and you're also going to be able to rotate at that diaphragm. It's not going to go all the way around, but it will rotate, and it looks pretty seamless too, which is really nice. But you can see how dark complected she is. She's definitely been outside a lot. And we'll go ahead and put this back on very quickly so you can see her with her full garb on here. And I'm also going to go ahead and put her hair back on so you can see how that pops into that hole. It still surrounds her ear on both sides and adds a little bit of thickness to the top, and even a little bit of bang coming over on the side there. So yeah, still going to be able to, well, not going to really be able to look up a whole lot when that's on, but you're still going to be able to look down. But fortunately, she does bend back a good amount, so you're going to be able to look up using that diaphragm there if you need to for photos and stuff like that. Okay, moving on to the legs, I believe here. Yep, we're going to be able to get full splits, and you can see she has really big buttocks going on there. You can see that from this angle, and some pretty good thighs. And there is a thigh rotation built up in that rotating ball joint. You do have double, I'll look at it on this side. Well, let's show you that. First of all, she will kick a really good amount, kick up really good amount there. So that's a good thing. And then she has double jointed knees, which look pretty decent and are very functional there. And again, you have all this thick stuff going on here, but even still, you get full tiptoes. And because this will go up, you're going to get up a pretty decent amount, not all the way. And then you'll have some rockers, which get really good range, because again, this moves out of your way. You see you have a peg hole in the bottom as well. So that is really cool, really nice. Let's see how far back. That's not going to quite, oh yeah, it will too. Yeah, it will. It'll go all the way back and touch her. Oh, and it does have the drop down method. I did not realize that, but it does have the drop down method going on in this body. So that's pretty good. I did not realize that until I just did it. It just felt kind of tight at first in the hips. But yeah, so you try to push all this back down so that you can see her in her full artillery here. And she's looking really nice. Really good. All right, now let's look at the skins, so to speak, the soft goods. All right, there's one example that we saw kind of illustrated in the pictures and the photos where she's got it kind of draped over one shoulder and is able to still hold her axe, and you can still see some are there. Looking good, looking awesome. And just so you'll know, there's where the little snap is. Snaps together. So you're not going to want to pull, or you'll pull those threads out. It's very tiny. So you're going to want to put your fingernails in between there and pop them loose, and you see the strap now, or the snaps there. All right. And then you have more of like a covering or cape type piece. That's the smaller piece. And again, the snap is right here in the corner. And this is the piece I just had on her right here. As you can see, it's a lot wider and longer. That's the reason it was, which this one goes down a pretty good amount of length too, but it don't go all the way down to her boots like this one did when it was on her like so. This one was going all the way down and was still, wrapped around. This one technically could go all the way around her, and I'll show you that next, but that's kind of what you can do. And if you want to tuck some of that in like so, you could probably maneuver it to make it more of like a cape, I'm thinking, kind of like that. But I don't know. But see, I got the hair over top of it, so you could possibly make it more almost like a cloak, kind of like that. You're just going to be able to maneuver it however you want to. There's no wires or anything, but it's heavy enough that you're going to be able to put it however you want to. That doesn't look that great, but like I said, you're going to be able to move it around and do what you want to with it, like so. Okay. And there I was going to show you how you can pretty much make it a full cover. Maybe she's hiding, or in the woods, kind of blending in. She can cover herself completely like that. Looks really cool. And again, the snap is right there. Got those hair braids, which are very soft, still draped over top, but I have her long hair in the back draped underneath. I wonder if you could make it, yeah, you could even make it a like that, or you could take the other one and make it kind of like the part that goes over the head, like that. Completely disguised. However you want to do it. And there she is, kind of swinging it over her shoulder there, toting it, instead of, wearing it, so to speak. You just kind of got it over on her shoulder there, holding it. Yeah, it would look more natural if this elbow would bend back more than just 90 degrees. There's where you would need that double jointed elbow to make it look a little bit more natural, like she was really holding it over her shoulder. But that's the way they're doing it on the box. I'll show you pretty much. Just can see her thumb a little bit better. But yeah, that's as far back. And go ahead and get her thumb showing a little bit like it did on that. But yeah, because you can make that ball joint go back as far back as you can there. But that's as far as that's far back as her elbow is going to bend. So that's kind of the way they've got it. And then that axe kind of in front. All right, now let's do some comparisons. And here is our Krieger the Shunned next to He-Man, and our Gold Hildr next to our New Eternia Teela with a Horda MX head sculpt on the New Eternia head sculpt. And you can definitely see that for both of these figures, they're very realistic. They have a realism to it. It's not as noticeable here beside He-Man, but when you look at Gold Hildr next to Teela here, it definitely, makes this look more toyish and this look more of a realism, gives it a realism look to it, if that makes any sense. But you can still, you know, make this work and still put this in with your multiverse if you want to. I think, you know, I mean, yeah, they're taller, but people are different sizes, and Gold Hildr is definitely on the short end, even next to the Krieger the Shunned. Here's Krieger the Shunned next to our Frazetta girls, Conan, and Frank Frazetta's Conan, and yeah, one of my favorite figures here. And again, just like with the ball and chain, Warrior with ball and chain, there's a little bit of a shine going on that takes away, unless he's just sweaty, that takes a little bit away from the realism here against this fella, but against Conan, but still they look good together. And man, these look perfect together. I think I may even let Gold Hildr and the Norseman be an item, because I just think this looks excellent together. This is one of my favorite all-time figures. The Norseman was a perfect figure in my opinion. He's got some soft goods with his fur, his cape, and so does she. You can really see how dark skinned she is next to the Norseman. I do wish they had lightened it just a little bit, or maybe just put a little bit of red in it so it made it look, I don't know, she's just very dark, and it seems to be almost like she's in the shade, even her hair. But I like the whole motif, the whole color scheme, but her skin's just a shade too dark in my opinion, but they just look super together. I love the Norseman, and I really like this Gold Hildr. They actually, you know, even with their armament, so to speak, his loincloth's a little less flashy, but the boots and everything, I mean, they actually fit in good together. The gauntlets and stuff, I think they just match up perfect together here. I like it. And here is our Krieger the Shunned next to Human, which are both part of the Savage Crucible line by Harbinger Studios. And then here is our Gold Hildr next to another Combat Fight for Glory combatant. And you can see that both of these are made by XesRay Studio, and you can see that they line up good together. I mean, the females are a little shorter than the males, but you know, they're I think going really well together, looking cool. Now I know that Mythic Legions has released even some newer bodies than this. This is Atlas by Mythic Legions. This fairly older figure, because they even have some that have bicep swivel now. They've gone back to that, and I think their newer wave that's coming, or is already out maybe. But there is our Krieger the Shunned by Savage Crucible, and then our Gold Hildr by XesRay Studios next to a Mythic Legions character, in case you want to just see how they measure up here. Looking good. Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. It has been so much fun taking a look at these two characters. You're not going to want to miss the photo gallery, so buckle up, like, subscribe, comment if you have something to say, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.